Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a foundation review on the new or newish Stila Hide and Chic Fluid Foundation. I've had this foundation for a little bit, but then I moved and actually just recently found it. I remember wanting to do a foundation review slash wear test on this foundation because it's such a different texture. It's advertised as like a different kind of foundation. So if you want to see what I think about the Stila Hide and Chic foundation, then keep on watching. Okay, so I'm on Stila's website right now, and it says a magic elixir of push pigments and good for you ingredients smooths, blurs, and nurtures for a healthier looking, more refined, and even toned complexion. I can use that. No, 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 no. The texture. Incredible coverage for such a thin liquid formula. Now, that's why I'm curious about this because I am full coverage all the way. And if it's saying that it can give me that with a thinner texture, then sign me up. Innovative silica coated pigments, blah 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 blah. So some of the claims, it says no caking or flaking, good for you ingredients, shake to activate the proprietary blend, Irish sea moss known to improve texture and hydration, baobab sea extract to help defend and nurture, customizable coverage from nearly nothing to covert concealment. You choose the level. Long wearing and humidity proof. Natural satin finish. Okay. So it doesn't really tell me how to apply it. So I jumped onto Ulta's website where I know it's sold, and here it says how to use. Shake to activate. Use fingertips to apply center of the face and blend outward. So I'm not a fingertip foundation kind of person. I like to use my brushes, my sponges, anything that I can. So we'll see about this one. For light to medium coverage, use one pump. For medium to full coverage, use two pumps. Okay, now that's a big claim because I like to use like five pumps for full coverage. Okay, so I'm on Ulta's website and they have a little video here showing you how to use the foundation. And
what a damp sponge can do for me.
they're using a sponge.
Either way, though, just make sure you don't press too hard so you don't.
Okay, so in this video, they literally use their fingers to kind of, apply it to the skin, then use either a brush or a sponge to kind of finish out the way they want it to look. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. So I have the shade Tan 1, and we're going to shake to activate the proprietary blend. It's very liquidy, as you can hear. This says it is a thinner texture, so let's take a look. It is in a pump. And I don't know where my glass plate went, so I'm just going to use the cap of my Moisture Surge here. So 1, 2. So this amount here should give me full coverage according to the claims on the website. So with this foundation review or any foundation reviews in the future, I am going to do this. I'm going to treat this the same way as I would any other foundation. So I am going to prime. So for primer today, I am going to go into the Stila One Step Primer. So I feel like since it's Stila, it should, help. So I'm going to take one pump of that and apply that to the face. Alright, we are primed. Coffee break. There. So now we have this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the foundation and apply it. It said inward out. So okay. So I'm going to kind of just blend it. Okay. This color is gonna be pretty good for me. Okay. So it seems like it tells you to use your fingers first so you can kind of distribute the product where you want it. And then you can go in with your brush or sponge to kind of actually smooth it into the skin. I do have the brush to use, which is the Stila, what do you call it? This is the Stila 33 brush. So I'm going to grab this and start kind of blending it into the skin. Because right now, it's just kind of sitting on top because all I did was spread it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to blend it out with the brush. This doesn't have a fragrance, but it does have a little bit of like a I don't know. It smells like something. Okay, so now I have fully buffed it into the skin. And I like the way it's looking. It looks very natural, but it did hide, you know, I had some darkness in these areas. I had a little bit of discoloration here and there, but I do have this left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the brush here and kind of grab the rest of it. And I feel like I'm just going to hit some places where I need a little bit more coverage. So in the video, they did use this under the eye as their concealer. So like I said, I'm just going to grab the rest of that. Whatever's left over, I'm probably even going to still scrape that. And hit it under the eye. Now, I'm not always the biggest fan of using foundation as a concealer. Unless it's, you know, a foundation and a concealer in one. But I mean, let's just do what it says. So I pretty much scraped off all the product from my lid here. So we have used 2 pumps. That's it. So for 2 pumps, I do feel covered. I feel like this is supposed to be like a satin finish. I feel like it's very glowy, especially like in these areas here, like where I move my face, which I was gonna say I don't mind, but I do mind because I'm already oily. So I want to see how this holds up. I am gonna still powder it and see how that goes. So I have a little blemish right here and it didn't completely cover it, but that happens a lot of the time with blemishes, especially when it's scarred and especially when you pick at it. But, you know, no judgment here. Now, for under the eye, I don't feel like it gave me, well, relatively any coverage. I still feel like I'm dark under there. The eye, so I'm just going to take a little bit of my E.L.F. Camo Concealer. Literally, I'm just going to take that. Like I don't want to use a lot of product because I want to see how this foundation holds up by itself, but I just need some coverage if I'm going to be wearing this all day. I'm going to use the same brush. I actually really like using this brush for concealer more so than foundation because you can get right under the eye with this brush. It also has this little baby dual end, which you can get right in that inner corner, but for the most part, you can do all of it with the bigger side. Yeah, see, that little dot of the E.L.F. concealer really kind of covered what I needed covered under the eye. There we go. Just needed a little bit. Now, with any foundation, I would powder it. Like, I can't not powder a foundation. So, I know how my Cover FX Perfect Loose Setting Powder works with a lot of my foundations. So, I'm going to take just a little bit with the JH01 brush, just a big powder brush. And I'm just going to grab the product and just set my face. So I'm not going to bake it or anything like I usually do. I'm just going to set it all pretty lightly, not too heavy. So yeah, that kind of took off a lot of the shine already. And that's kind of what I wanted. Okay, so I have powdered the entire face just very lightly. So now I'm just going to powder my under eye because I need to, or I'm going to crease all day. So again, just taking my Cover FX loose setting powder with a Jaclyn Hill 30 brush and just going to set my under eye. Again, I'm not going to bake my under eye either. Just going to lightly set it. So my face is completely set now. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of bronzer because we need some color on this face. I'm just going to take my MAC Give Me Sun. This always just comes through really quickly. And I'm just going to take it on that big fluffy brush. And I'm not going to contour with this. I'm just going to bronze up the skin. And I was telling you on my Jaclyn Hill video, you can bronze with this. And I'll link that video down below. But this is just going to be like an all over bronze. This isn't going to be like contouring or anything. So then I'm just going to put a little bit of highlighter on because how am I not going to put some highlighter on? And I'm just going to take my Jaclyn Hill 09 brush and just grab into the Lorac Daylight highlighter. Just a little bit. I'm just gonna take my MAC Give Me Some bronzer and just throw that into my crease, just really quickly. So this is a foundation review, so I'm not gonna do a whole eyeshadow look or anything. I'm just gonna go to work and see how this plays out. This is a great trick to do whenever you just need to put something on and get going. Now I'm just going to curl my lashes and put some mascara on. Like barely anything. Think of this as like no makeup makeup. Alright, so just a little bit of mascara on top, a little bit on the bottom. Now I'm just gonna put a little bit of brow gel into my brows. I don't really want to do a whole brow today, not in the mood. So I'm just gonna put some Urban Decay brow gel in the color Ozone, which is just clear. I can't find my Benefit Gimme Brow and it's stressing me out. Normally I would just do that since it gives me the color and holds my brows down, and it's really stressing me out that I can't find it. To help make sure this stays on all day, I'm going to use my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, of course. Not too much. Just a little bit, just to set it all in place. And now I'm just gonna go throughout my day and see how this foundation holds up. I'm gonna be doing check-ins throughout the day, and then I'm gonna come back and tell you what I think about the Stila Hide and Chic foundation, so stay tuned. Okay guys, so this is my first check-in. I probably should have done one earlier, but I'm at work, so I couldn't. Right now it's 4:28. So I've had this on since about 9:30 this morning, so about I've had this on for almost 7 hours. It does not sound right, but I guess I have. As you can see, I am getting very oily right here. And it's kind of funny because I don't usually get oily here. My forehead is also very shiny, as you can see. My nose, my nose is always typically pretty oily, so that's not really a big shocker for me. But right here is what's really doing it for me. I also feel like the color has gotten a lot darker. I feel like when I first applied it this morning, it matched pretty well. But as you can see, like just on the back of my hand, or to my neck, it is so much darker. So I think it is oxidizing throughout the day, which I feel is kind of weird for some foundations. But we're going to keep this on for a little bit longer and we'll see what it looks like later on. Okay, so here we are. We're back at my apartment. It's the end of the day. It is now 10:04 at night. So this foundation has been on for a little over 12 hours. So it has been a full day wear test at this point. And as you can see, I am just the oiliest. Like all through right here. Like I was in my last check-in, I was telling you how in this area I hardly ever get oily or really feel like I'm oily in those areas, but this foundation really emphasized all the oiliness right in this area. Now, my nose is super shiny, and that's always pretty regular for me. I have an oily T-zone, so the fact that my nose is oily and my forehead is oily is nothing new to me. The right here where, like, I guess my pores are where it really is super oily, and I've never really experienced that with any other foundation before. Also, I want to note that in places where my texture is, it isn't sitting, even places where I don't have texture, like right in here, it's kind of emphasized a little bit more. I can see it like through right here. I don't know if it's because it's the end of the day and it's time to take this off or something. I feel like all day I just wanted to grab my powder or something. Actually, you know what? But since it's the end of the day, what I want to do is I want to grab a little bit of my Cover FX setting powder, and I'm just going to take it on this Tarte brush so it's a little bit stiffer. So I'm just going to grab some powder and kind of just press it in to the skin. I already feel like that looks so much better. So we have this side touched up and we have this side that's not touched up. What do you think? I can just see the oil coming through in these areas. I don't know. I feel like this is a foundation that I would either have to use like a mattifying primer with, or I would have to like bake my face, or really have to like grab like an oil absorbing powder to really kind of mattify my face, because I feel like even though it said it was a satin finish, I don't think it really held up that way. Now I am more oily on the skin, so I'm not surprised that, some oil is coming through, but to this degree, I feel like it's a lot. I don't get that from some of my other foundations. Like my Clinique foundation doesn't do that. My LA Girl doesn't do that. So I don't know what's going on here. This might have to be something that I might have to play with. I did get a bunch of compliments throughout the day saying that my skin was smooth, that I looked dewy, even though this wasn't necessarily a dewy foundation kind of review. It was supposed to be satin, even after I mattified it with powder. See, because on this side, I feel like you can see all of my pores just yelling. Yeah, my forehead is definitely super greasy. I'm not going to touch up the rest of my face because it is time for bed anyway. I kind of just want to wrap this up and take this off. I do like this. And I do feel like I can use this in the future, but I feel like I will have to adjust this a little bit more. I feel like the next time I use this, I will use like a blurring or like a mattifying primer. I will use a little bit more powder on the face and like maybe even bake my entire face. I do that with a lot of my foundations just so it can last longer and so it can stay matte longer. But overall, I do like this foundation and I will use it again. It does look really pretty on the skin. Like even right now that I'm oily and greasy, it still looks really pretty on the skin. It didn't break up or anything. It's still, even in here, even right in here, I feel like that's where I'm the most oily and it still is completely on my skin. Now, here's the thing. I was looking at my restroom lighting and I feel like it looks like I don't have foundation on, which I don't, it's a good or a bad thing. It kind of just looks like my skin. But here's the thing though, like I kind of want it to look, I'm one of those people that I'm not scared of looking like I have a lot of foundation on. I want things to look smooth. I want everything to be covered. But the fact that it looks a little bit natural is not a bad thing for sure. Like I feel like I can wear this and I can kind of get away with not, like I feel like I can wear this like on an everyday basis and people will just, think I have clear smooth skin. The only drawback I feel like I did have was with that it did oxidize pretty dark. I had one of my coworkers even say, "Where you been? You look like you have a tan." And I was like, I'm wearing a foundation. It's not, like I said, it's not a complete drawback. What I would probably have to do is use like a translucent powder that maybe has a little bit more pigment. Like maybe my Anastasia translucent powder would work best with this foundation. Or I probably could do a little bit more like highlighting with my concealer, bring it down a little bit lower, highlight, because I didn't even do that with my concealer today. Overall, I do like the Stila Hide and Chic foundation. I will keep this with my foundations. Maybe I can even mix this with something and find like a perfect fit. Now, I do love the claim that it has more skin-loving ingredients in it. It is, I don't know if I told y'all the price of this, but it is $39. I'm also going to link the video that I was talking about earlier where they tell you to use your finger first and then use whatever product you want. But overall, I do like this foundation. I think I will use it again. I will just have to play with it a little bit more. Guys, let me know what y'all think of my foundation now that I've touched it up and now that I haven't touched it up. Tell me what you think. Which side do you think looks better? Do you like more of a dewy foundation? Do you like it to look a little bit more matte? Tell me what you think. If you like today's video, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share. Please do all the things for me, guys. Tell me, what is y'all's favorite foundation? I would love to know. Drop it down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.